I have to mute?
We could. I don't care.
Okay. I'll mute, just in case. Just remind me I have to unmute.
Okay.
Because I'll forget.
Welcome to the Morning Brew, the ghetto news stream that strives to be somewhat professional, and every once in a while we fake it rather well.
I remembered. I mean, hi. I'm a Merlin. I feel tired here.
and I'm a Maddie. So yep, this is the ghetto stream. So welcome. Let's see who we have in the live chat thus far. We have a Draconis, a means of destruction, a Wikipedia, a Diz knocking about, and as we scroll down, we have a Maniac Man 2030 and an Adam Key. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where in the world you are watching us. But right now it is 10:30 Central Standard Time, so it's morning for me. Morning, Unchained. And there wasn't really much on the on Twitter as far as government tweets are concerned. However, there are a couple of announcements. Since the Department of Justice likes to release press releases on what they're doing, who they've apprehended, who they're charging, or who they're indicting, I've decided to take those press releases and turned them into a SoundCloud podcast called Justice News. And before you guys say that's corny, that's what they call their press releases.
That's so corny.
It is, but that's what they call their press releases, Justice News. Trust me, the first time I saw the title, you were with me on the stream the first time I saw that.
I said Justice League News. That's better. But Justice News is corny. Justice League. That's better.
Totally.
Hi, I'm Merlin.
A lot of stuff has happened over the weekend. Now, for those of you new, Scarfy the Strange. Yeah, I know it does. Good morning, Scarfy. For those of you that are new to our channel and our news, we do not cover YouTube drama, Twitter drama, or social media drama. We cover news, current events, and political stuff on this show. If you want gossip or tea, as they're calling it now, you can go to Spill or Petty Patty or Petty, any of the other tea channels and watch that stuff. We don't do that here.
But we giggle at it.
We do. We giggle at it. We do enjoy it, but we like to stay drama free. Okay, so first couple of stories only have a few lines to them, which is why we call them quick news. And Supreme Court postpones DACA decision. I was expecting them to do this.
But by the way, memes, I'm hanging my head in shame because you're right. How dare us have principles?
Right? Right? Oh, wow. All right, so here we go. The Supreme Court, under pressure to speed their decision on whether to see Trump's DACA case or not, has declined the request to speed up proceedings in that manner. It is not to say they won't preside over it. They just refuse to be rushed into it. Trump wishes to wind down DACA in favor of quote-unquote responsible immigration reform.
Okay, but does he outline what that is?
No, that's why I put it in quotation marks.
Okay, because, yeah, I kind of... it's like, DACA, okay, I know what that is, but what is responsible, quote-unquote, immigration reform? Yeah. Mr. Trump, can you please answer that? Because I'm confused.
Right?
And you're right, this is a coffee channel, not a tea channel.
Yep.
Tea, ew.
Hey, tea done right is rather delicious.
Okay, yeah, we got British folk. Sorry.
Those of you on Twitter have probably noticed a screen cap floating around about racist, quote-unquote, tickets for an Afrofuturist festival. Well, they came under fire because of their pricing.
No way.
They chose, they priced the quote-unquote non-POC people twice as much as the POC people.
Isn't that part of apparitions, or whatever that they were asking for?
You mean the reparations?
Yeah, the apparitions.
The Afro Future Fest had Eventbrite threaten to pull their page due to the preferred pricing of the tickets, which gave a cheaper price to minorities than to white people. The listings for the prices had non-POC paying twice as much for the tickets to the same event. The rapper, Tiny Jag, had this to say on Twitter. She was scheduled at the event, though, but this was her official statement on Twitter. I was going to make a video, but I'm too triggered to address this issue in that way. I was unknowingly added to the Afro Future event, miscommunication, but ultimately agreed to support and play the event in effort to support an individual within its curation. Today, a non-POC friend of mine brought to my attention that Afro Future is requiring non-people of color to pay twice the amount to attend the festival as POC. This does not reflect the views of myself or the Tiny Jag team. I will not be playing this show. I apologize to anyone who may have been triggered or offended. Best, Jillian. So, wow. I think she did the right thing bowing out because...
AOC price would be 2 cents. Because she needs to find some. Oh, wait a minute. By the way, Merlin, he's probably referring to using the Legal Immigration Reform and Immigration Act Responsibility Act of 1996. I know this. Please don't be technical with me this morning. It's Monday. It's morning. Thank you, though. Thank you. I understand.
This is our first week where we're officially getting up early enough to do this. So if it seems like we're a little laggy, it's not our computers, it's us.
And this is correct. It is already a law, but of course it's not being followed. Let's put on a surprise face with that one. Your job, Congress, once again, passing laws that we're not going to follow.
Scarfy, how much did Rachel Dolezal pay? And Sean King.
I think they pay half the POC price, the
Well,
non-POC price.
I, being me, facetious, responded to a tweet of that manner, and I said, "So, being a Latina but being white, do I pay the POC price or the non-POC price? I'm confused."
Well, you paid the half price of non-POCs.
Right?
I think that's how it works.
You think that's how it works?
But I think Rachel Dolezal and Sean King, they get in for free because they, demonize their whiteness, so therefore they would be celebrities, I would think.
I didn't think you could demonize. Oh yeah, they demonize the whiteness because they transracial, yo.
Yeah, exactly. They can apparently do that.
Oh Lord. Okay, let's make this a little bit bigger so everybody can see it. And come on.
Oh, Elizabeth Warren was free because she's an Indian, so she gets things free.
Pocahontas. Oh.
The 0.0000001% of Native American that's in her.
Right. All right, so far, and this is my computer acting up. Yay, you gotta love it when my computer acts up.
Hi, not a Ronan. Hi, not a Ronan Merlin. Hi, I am a Merlin. Ronan, you confuse me.
There
Thank
we go.
you. Where am I doing? Oh yeah, this one. What is this one? Oh yeah, ICE and FBI. Which one are we doing first?
On that one, but it won't scroll, so I'm arguing with it. Okay.
Ah,
Here
okay.
we go. You want to read this one?
Sure, why not?
Hey, baby. Good morning.
So, ICE and FBI has used facial recognition to search driver's licenses databases. Of course, millions of licenses were scanned by the FBI and ICE agents between 2014 and 2017 without the holders knowing. Insert, really? No way. Records of the search.
Do that.
Yeah, exactly. Record of the searches were obtained by Georgetown law researchers and passed on to the Washington Post. The two agencies were reportedly given access by DMV offices directly without going through state legislatures. This is thought to be the first known case of ICE agents using facial recognition technologies to scan driver's licenses for civilians' purposes. Some states, including New York, Washington, and District of Columbia, allow illegal aliens to obtain driver's licenses, provided they show evidence that they're a resident in the state and passing a driving test, but they're not a resident of the state because they're not a resident of the country.
Funny how that works.
I know. It blows my mind. While police departments hold data such as fingerprints and DNA that are taken from criminal suspects, the Department of Motor Vehicles holds a far larger database of information on residents. The vast majority of those people whose data is held by the DMV have never been suspected of a crime. Till now.
Till now. Hi, Rico, and welcome to the stream. For those of you that are wondering what this is Evernote. And what we do is we download the articles. We take the meat of the articles, meaning the stuff that isn't twisted to lean left or right, and we provide you with the information. Now, normally some people with streams like this would just, have the icons flashing back and forth, but we like to be respectful of those that are hearing impaired, which is why we also throw our edits up there on the screen where everybody can see the edited articles that we're reading from.
And plus, this is my English project.
Yeah, because most of these people really need to fire their editors.
Oh, freaking New York Times. Right? What the hell? Hire a proofreader. Space bars are your friend. Punctuation is your friend.
I get to hear this while we're editing stuff, by the way. All right. Graphic images, which will not be shown. Of flesh rotting cocaine cut with cow dewormer will put you off drugs for life. Yes, this happened. Yes, the idea of heart problems, sweat dripping anxiety, and environmental vandalism wasn't enough to put you off cocaine, then take a look at this medical case report. Published in the Annals of Rheumatic Diseases back in 2016, doctors in the Colombian city of Medellin detailed 11 cases of people whose skin turned a deathly deep purple and began to die as a result of abusing cocaine cut with cattle dewormer.
Ooh.
All of the patient's ears had necrosis, while the tissue turns black and dies, due to irreversible damage to cells. One of the patients even had necrosis occur on his penis.
Ouch. Ouch.
Yeah. Another common symptom was retiform purpura across their body and face, where skin turns a deep purple due to the rupturing of blood vessels. A number of them also had the condition cytopenia, a lower than normal number of mature blood cells. Remarkably, all of these lesions managed to be resolved after the patients received medical treatment, including the steroid medication, and kicked their cocaine habit. The cocaine they had used was laced with less expensive drug levamisole, a medication used to treat parasitic worm infections in cattle and livestock, to add bulk and weight to the product. Humans can use this drug to treat parasitic infestations. However, shoving unmeasured quantities of cheap cattle dewormer up your nose is evidently not good for your health. Who'd have thought? Right? Other studies have also shown that regular users of levamisole-laced cocaine also suffer from brain damage and cognitive impairment. This research even noticed people who consumed cocaine with high levels of levamisole had an altered brain structure with notably thinner prefrontal cortex. Oh, SJWs. Oh, shit. I didn't say that out loud. Huh. The area of the brain associated
I have a
with
quick
executive
question.
functions. What?
So does that mean their penis snorted their cocaine and that's why it's falling off?
I don't know. Hi, MC.
How do you get a rotting penis if the penis didn't suck it up some way?
I don't know. I have no clue. Levamisole is actually a surprisingly common cutting agent for cocaine, even in North America and Europe. A study from 2009 reported that 69% of cocaine samples in the US and over 50% of cocaine sample in the UK tested positive for levamisole. Another medical report in the journal BMJ Case Reports from 2015 documented a 42-year-old woman in the Netherlands suffering from vasculitis due to levamisole contaminated cocaine. However, it's worth noting that the people in this case report were all chronic heavy cocaine users. You don't say. So while it's certainly not recommended, a night of dabbing with powdered stimulants, won't cause your ears to turn purple and die.
Wow. Draconis goes, who needs English? Writing skills? I agree. Cut out the gangrene wiener. That was from Unchained. Scarfy, the strange. Cocaine? That turns you into zombies? MC. Hey, MC, how you doing? Wikipedia snippet. Hi, MC. Hi, MC, how you doing again? For the second time. It's a Monday, so yeah. Wikipedia snippet goes, they probably have brain damage to start with, which is very true.
Yeah.
And Unchained agreed. Adam K. People that take cocaine aren't bright in the first place. Very true.
Mm-hmm.
And memes of destruction. Speedball up the trunk. Hey, well, wouldn't that be anal rottage?
It have to be like injected into the penis, which would be painful to begin with.
Yeah.
The other.
Unless you have a prostitute who has cocaine in her mouth, and she goes, I solved the mystery.
You solved the mystery. All right, here we go. You get to read this one.
All Mississippi beaches has toxic. See what I mean? People, I'm surprised I didn't. USA Today, hire proofreader.
Right?
All Mississippi beaches close as toxic algae blooms blanket state's coast. This is from Monroe. All Mississippi Gulf Coast beaches have been closed for swimming as the expanding bloom of toxic blue-green algae blankets the state's waters. All of Mississippi's 21 beaches have been closed. Mississippi beaches are popular spots for southern vacationers because of their close proximity. A water contact advisory has a segment of the Jordan River in Hancock County, Mississippi, has also been issued. Closures do not prevent the use of beaches for sunbathing or recreation, but people and pets should not swim in the water. The agency also advises anyone exposed to wash with soap and water and to refrain from eating fish or any other seafood taken from affected areas. The algae bloom or rapid growth was caused by the algae bloom or rapid growth was caused by part of the opening of the Bonnet Care spillway in Louisiana, which introduces an excessive amount of fresh water to the coastline. Hey, the blue-green algae is technically not an algae, but bacteria, words, which is known to produce toxins. Exposure can cause rashes, stomach cramps, nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting. State agencies are advising against consuming fish or other seafood from waters where they bloom is present. And you have to say this because it's Mississippi. Yeah, don't eat the fish. It's not fish roadkill.
Right? Let's see which one is. Nope, that's not that one. All right, here we go. This must be the one out of the other one out of Mississippi, right?
Hold on a sec. Draconisco sounds like Epsom salt. Zumber. Yeah, it is. Wikipedia, I suppose contamination is a good argument for decriminalization. Yeah, that would work. Yes, and Wikipedia goes blue-green algae is more of a bacteria than an algae, and fish roadkill. Exactly, that's what it is. It's fish roadkill.
Yep, fish roadkill.
And they will pick it up and they will eat it. That's
Yeah.
why you got to tell these people, no, put it down.
Right? All right, Bakersfield Animal Care Center warns residents to check yard after fireworks because this came out July 5th, but there's still remnants of fireworks around in our apartment complex because people don't know how to pick up after themselves because reasons. The danger the 4th of July poses to pets doesn't end after the fireworks have stopped, and the City of Bakersfield Animal Care Center wants residents to take heed. The center is recommending that pet owners and residents alike check their yards and pastures for fireworks debris. In addition, if you hosted a party, they also suggest looking for food scraps and debris. This can consist of food skewers, foil, or food that is toxic to pets. The American Veterinary Medical Association states, even if you didn't set off fireworks yourself, debris can make its way into your yard where curious animals may pick it up to play with or eat. One pet website explains the dangers of fireworks. Most fireworks are toxic to pets. Firecrackers are similar to gunpowder, but they are more dangerous. While gunpowder contains potassium, nitrate, carbon, and sulfur, firecrackers contain these ingredients plus additional coloring and explosive agents that are highly toxic. Who would have thought explosives toxic? In addition to warning residents about fireworks debris, the Animal Care Center said they would be updating their found pet records daily. If you have a missing pet, they recommend stopping by the shelter Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
So Wikipedia is, as I actually pronounced that word, I refused to say because I couldn't say it right. Cyanobacteria. And does every article have a typo?
Yes.
FFS. Yes.
Because all of their editors have something in their. I don't know what's going on with these editors, but they need to
just hire a proofreader. This one article we're going to read, there was like 4 authors on it, and they didn't know how to use a space bar or punctuation.
Yeah, that's going to be the last one that we read, by the way. To keep people interested to the end, because, we got to stretch this out. And before we get to this next, let me reiterate and add that the Morning Brew and all of its content and sister channels are made possible by viewers like you. Yes, I know I sound like PBS. In the description, you will find links to our PayPal, our Humble Bundle store, and we are also an Amazon affiliate. Those are some of the many ways that you can support this channel. If you decide to click on that PayPal link and donate, please include a message with that donation, and I will read it out loud on the live stream. If you do not wish your name to be disclosed, include in the description who you are, screen name wise, and that name will be read. If you do not include it, and I realize this is an IRL name, I will not read it aloud because I don't dox people.
And plus, don't dox yourselves, okay? Don't.
Yeah.
And MC, to answer your question about putting sparklers on dogs, is it bad? Well, sparklers are not technically fireworks. So they didn't say anything about sparklers.
Right.
So yeah, go nuts.
All right, here we go. This is your turn to read this one.
Oh. And that really means there are 4 people too blind to use spell check. Yes.
Pretty much.
So, Trump's White House uniquely dysfunctional, says UK's ambassador in Washington.
Yeah, this was leaked out.
Yeah, leaked. Yeah. Donald Trump's White House is uniquely dysfunctional and inept, according to leaked memos from the UK's ambassador in Washington. The documents detail Sir Kim Darroch's judgments on the Trump administration from 2017 to the present and could prove highly embarrassing for the Foreign Office. Officials insisted that the relationship with the U.S. could withstand the quote-unquote mischievous leak and defended Sir Kim's candid style of assessment. In the diplomatic memos obtained by the Mail on Sunday, Sir Kim questioned whether the White House will ever look competent. In one scathing assessment, he wrote, "We really don't believe this administration is going to become substantially more normal, less dysfunctional, less unpredictable, less faction-riven, less diplomatically clumsy and inept." The top diplomat also suggested that in order to communicate with the U.S. president, you need to make your points simple, even blunt.
Wow.
Yeah. Following Mr. Trump's state visit to UK in June, Sir Kim warned that although the president has been dazzled, quote unquote, by the pomp and ceremony of the trip, his administration will remain self interested and this is still the land of America first. Well, yeah. President of the United States? Yeah, definitely. The early allegations of collusion between Trump campaign and Russia, the memo said, the worst cannot be ruled out. Investigation by Robert Mueller, published earlier this year, cleared Trump of collusion, but not the destruction of justice. He did not interfere. The Russians did not collude with Trump. Freaking tards.
They are, but they're gonna keep beating that their horse. That
Let's see. Wikipedia reminds me of two literally blind YouTubers. Scarfy Strange must be Russian hackers again. Yep, those Russian bots.
damn
And
bot.
Wikipedia, blind girl and blind press. Thank you, Wikipedia.
All right, here we go. Thousands of fish perish after fire
Push
at
F for everyone.
Beam Warehouse. Moment of silence for the
Yeah, push F.
for the bourbon. The Jim Beam Warehouse fire in Kentucky has begun to cause environmental damage to the local wildlife as thousands of dead fish overdosed from alcohol. No, wait a minute, that doesn't say that. As thousands of dead fish have littered the Kentucky River and are floating downstream.
Because they couldn't handle the alcohol.
Right? Environmental officials in Kentucky say the water used to put out the blaze that consumed 45,000 barrels of bourbon has reached the nearby creek and eventually the river. I don't believe I would want to swim in it right now. In a few days, when all this passes, it'll be fine, local resident Kim Strohmeyer told WKOYP. A lot of fishermen in both the Elkhorn Creek and the river here. Folks aren't going to have much success fishing in the river in the next few weeks.
Yeah, they will. They'll just scoop it up.
Just, because the fish are pickled.
Yeah.
Strohmeyer added the phenomenon was something he'd never seen before. The Environmental Protection Agency is now leading the investigation to determine how much impact the contaminated water will have on the local ecosystem, according to WKTV. Obviously, there has never been booze in the river before. But, I mean, where there's booze in a river where there's fish, there's going to be fish that are going to overdose on the alcohol and die.
And there's going to be rednecks by the stream with giant straws sipping out of the water.
Watered down whiskey.
Water, yeah, it'd be like whiskey on the rocks.
Bourbon, yeah, the bourbon. Watered down bourbon. Chief Warren would see this as an omen to her tribe. Pocahontas. Okay, sorry.
I think most people would push F for the bourbon, not the fish.
Right?
45,000 barrels.
Wow. I would never, because to me, wine, marinating certain fish in wine is fine, but I've never really marinated fish in booze.
Well, isn't bourbon like kill bacteria because it's alcohol? So therefore, wouldn't the fish be safe to eat because it's been purged and pickled, as you said?
You would think. Are the fish of age?
Whoa, we might need a sweep here.
Crackdown.
Lots of false ideas here.
Yep.
This story.
This story.
New York Times.
Man.
New York Times, hire a proofreader. You had 4 people help write this article, and not one of you went back and reread your work. And if you did, you have to go back to college. No, back to elementary school.
Right?
Because, yeah. All right, who's ready to get pissed?
I am.
Okay, I am too. So, federal prosecutors have resurrected a federal sex crime case against the billionaire financier Jeffrey Epstein by focusing on accusations that he sexually assaulted girls at his mansion in Manhattan more than a decade after a widely criticized plea deal shielded him from similar charges in Florida. Federal prosecutors unsealed the new charges on Monday, accusing Mr. Epstein, 66, of running a sex trafficking operation that lured dozens of underage girls, some as young as 14, to his Upper East Side home and to a mansion in Palm Beach, Florida, according to the indictment. In this way, Epstein created a vast network of underage victims for him to sexually exploit in locations including New York and Palm Beach, the indictment said. I kind of want to read this indictment later. If there's more information, I'll put it out there.
Okay. Well, if we have time, we could probably pull it up and read it.
That's true. He was arrested on Saturday at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey after arriving on a private flight. Oh, after arriving on a private flight from France. Oh, yeah, they're nice. Two law enforcement officers said he is charged with sex trafficking and sex trafficking conspiracy. He faces a combined maximum sentence of up to 45 years in prison if convicted. And if that does come true, then that'll be life in prison. See what I mean? And I forgot to catch that one. Spacebar! Spacebar! Prosecutors are also seeking the forfeiture of Mr. Epstein's townhouse on East 71st Street. Just be Florida cocaine. And yes, on change, he is a sicko. And Draconis, we should cut Florida off because that would take care of our elderly situation.
Oh.
The new charges are revived of a years long Mondays. I love Mondays against Mr. Epstein, who faced similar accusations involving girls who told the police they were brought to his mansion in South Florida and assaulted. The case unraveled in 2008 after Mr. Epstein was offered a secret plea deal by federal prosecutors, one of whom is now President Trump's in Mr. President Trump's cabinet. In fact, Mr. Epstein has had links to a wide array of high-profile official celebrities and business moguls, from Mr. Trump to it's our favorite presidential rapist, Bill Clinton.
Tricky Willie. Oh, sorry.
To Prince Andrew. Oh, okay. Mr. Epstein, wherever his name is charged with using vast network of contacts and associates to bring a constant stream of underage girls to his Manhattan townhouse. One law enforcement official said. He is accused of shuttling the girls between the townhouse and his home in Palm Beach, Florida, paying them in cash and urging them to recruit other underage girls to visit his home. The girls were initially recruited to give him massages, but he frequently escalated encounters into sex acts. A law enforcement source said, including groping, and touching the girls' genitals. This pattern continued from at least 2002 to 2005, the source said. And Draconis, not making sound bad at all. Yeah, cutting off Florida, yeah. In 2008, Mr. Epstein pleaded guilty in 2 prostitution charges in state court and served about a year in Palm Beach, Florida. We'll get into those charges as soon as Maddie scrolls up.
Oh, sorry. Here we go.
Scarfy the Strange goes, wouldn't it be ironic if Biden becomes the nominee only to be named by Epstein?
Oh my God.
That would be great.
That would be ironically funny as hell.
Women who said they were victims of Mr. Epstein when they were girls have previously described being assaulted at the Upper East Side residence. One of his accusers, Virginia Roberts Golfrey, said in court documents that Mr. Epstein forced her to have sex with him at the mansion. She settled a separate lawsuit against Mr. Epstein in 2009. Mr. Epstein had earlier been accused of attaining a similar arrangement at his mansion in Palm Beach. After the parents of one of Mr. Epstein's accusers approached the police there in 2005, that case ballooned rapidly. According to documents reviewed by the Miami Herald, officials soon identified at least 36 potential victims. In all, investigators found abuse dating back to 2001, with victims as young as 13. A subsequent investigation by the Herald identified more than 60 victims, and witnesses have testified in later civil cases that the number may have reached into the hundreds. Scroll, please.
Right. Scroll. Oops. Damn it. Let's try this again. Hi.
Okay.
There we are.
Federal prosecutors in Miami prepared a sweeping 53-page federal indictment against Mr. Epstein, but in 2008 it was abruptly shelved after prosecutors negotiated a secret deal with Mr. Epstein's lawyers. Prosecutors did not tell the victims about the deal they made with Mr. Epstein until after a judge approved it.
Of course not, because all the victims would have been going the fuck off.
That just seems so fair right there, so judicial, so yeah. Justice, I think justice was really served here.
Right?
So
it's
instead
fair.
of facing life in prison, like he should have been facing life in prison, which would have saved a lot more girls from getting raped by this creep, instead he pleaded guilty to 2 prostitution charges in state court and served about a year in a Palm Beach jail. But wait, there's more. Though he was allowed to leave the facility 6 days a week, 12 hours a day on work release privileges. Let that sink in.
Who the fuck came up with this plea deal? Jesus Christ.
Well, Mr. Epstein's deal also shielded any co-conspirators who may have helped Bill Clinton to arrange a sexual rendezvous Biden and stayed in contact with his victims. Surprise.
Yeah, surprised.
That deal was negotiated in part by Alexander Acosta, the former United States Attorney in the Southern District of Florida, who now serves as Mr. Trump's labor secretary. Mr. Acosta met privately with a lawyer for Mr. Epstein, and his office allowed the financier's lawyers to dictate many of the plea deal's terms, the Herald reported last year.
Imagine my shock.
Oh, yeah, indeed. We got to spike Epstein's cocaine.
Right?
In February, a federal judge ruled that Florida prosecutors had broken the law in 2008. What? I'm shocked. Really? They broke the law? Huh. They broke the law because they did not keep Mr. Epstein's victims informed of the plea deal. The Justice Department has also opened an inquiry into how the case was handled. Well, we know how it was handled. He showed some money, and he got away with it.
Uh-huh.
During the Florida investigation, Mr. Epstein retained an array of powerful attorneys, including the Harvard professor, Alan Dershowitz, and Kenneth Starr, the former special counsel who investigated President Clinton. Now, Mr. Clinton flew on Mr. Epstein's private jet multiple times, according to flight records. Prince Andrew of Britain was a frequent social companion. Mr. Trump in 2002 told New York Magazine that Mr. Epstein was a terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with, he said at the time. He even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, wink, wink, and many of them are on the younger side. Oh, Trump. He's
always sticking his foot in his mouth.
Oof.
He needs to walk around with ketchup because he's constantly putting his foot in his mouth.
So is anyone surprised that Mr. Clinton was brought up into this story?
Not in the least.
I mean, I think Mr. Epstein does own that island, the pedophile island. And, of course, Bill Clinton visited pretty frequently, of course.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah, I believe, yes, cocaine for this guy, definitely. And we got to shoot it into his penis and his anal cavity as well.
Yeah. So here's
Pizza. Yes, Pizza Island. Yes, Wikipedia. Exactly.
Ooh. Okay, I just brought up the indictment.
All right.
So yeah. This is Mr. Epstein's indictment. Oh Lord.
So in particular, from at least in or about 2002 up to and including at least in or about 2005, Jeffrey Epstein, the defendant, enticed and recruited and caused to be enticed and recruited minor girls to visit his mansion in Manhattan. Whoa! Surprise.
Sorry.
Okay.
Wait a minute. I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to blow it up, but not too much. But apparently that's not working because if you do it too terribly much, it doesn't fit in the window. There we go.
Yeah, we did Bill Cosby in jail after how long, though?
Yeah, right.
But anyway, also Bill Cosby. I'm not gonna say any sort of racist things, but I'll just let that stand.
Yeah.
In particular, so in Manhattan, New York, the New York residence is what's going to be known as. An
Yeah.
estate in Palm Beach, Florida, or the Palm Beach residence, as it will be known as, to engage in sex acts with him, after which he gave the victims hundreds of dollars in cash. Moreover, and in order to maintain and increase his supply of victims, Epstein also pays certain of his victims to recruit additional girls to be similarly abused by Epstein. In this way, Epstein created a vast network of underage victims for him to sexually explicit in locations including New York and Palm Beach.
The victims described herein were as young as 14 years old at the time they were abused by Jeffrey Epstein, the defendant, and were for various reasons often particularly vulnerable to exploitation. Epstein intentionally sought out minors and knew that many of his victims were in fact under the age of 18, including because in some instances minor victims expressly told him their age.
And creating and maintaining this network of minor victims in multiple states to sexually abuse and exploit, Jeffrey Epstein, the defendant, worked and conspired with others, including employees and associates, who facilitated his conduct by, among other things, contacting victims and scheduling their sexual encounters with Epstein at the New York residence and at the Palm Beach residence.
Factual background. During all time periods charged in this indictment, Jeffrey Epstein, the defendant, was the financier with multiple residences in the continental United States, including the New York residence and the Palm Beach residence.
Beginning at least 2002, Jeffrey Epstein, the defendant, enticed and recruited and caused to be enticed and recruited dozens of minor girls to engage in sex acts with him, after which Epstein paid the victims hundreds of dollars in cash at the New York residence and at the Palm Beach residence.
In both New York and Florida, Jeffrey Epstein, the defendant, perpetuated this abuse in similar ways. Victims were initially recruited to provide massages to Epstein, which would be performed nude or partially nude, would become increasingly sexual in nature, and would typically include one or more sex acts. Epstein paid his victims hundreds of dollars in cash for each encounter. Moreover, Epstein actively encouraged certain of his victims to recruit additional girls to be similarly sexually abused. Epstein incentivized his victims to become recruiters by paying these victim recruiters hundreds of dollars for each girl they brought to Epstein. In so doing, Epstein maintained a steady supply of new victims to exploit. And I'm going to need a shower after this fucking indictment.
The New York residence, number 8, at all times relevant to this indictment, Jeffrey Epstein, the defendant, possessed and controlled a multi-story private residence on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, New York. The New York residence. Between at least in or about 2002 and in or about 2005, Epstein abused numerous minor victims at the New York residence by causing these victims to be recruited to engage in paid sex acts with him.
When a victim arrived at the New York residence, she typically would be escorted into a room with a massage table where she would perform a massage on Jeffrey Epstein. Massage. Ugh. The defendant. The victims, who were as young as 14 years of age, were told by Epstein or other individuals to partially or fully undress before beginning the massage.
Ew.
During the encounter, Epstein would escalate the nature and scope of physical contact with his victim to include, among other things, sex acts such as groping and direct and indirect contact with the victim's genitals. Yeah, I'm going to need a shower. Epstein typically...
Ew!
Yeah.
Ew!
Yeah. During these sexualized encounters, ask victims to touch him while he
Eh.
while he, and touch victims, with his hand or with sex toys.
In connection with the sexual encounters, Jeffrey Epstein, the defendant, or one of his employees or associates, paid the victims in cash. Victims typically were paid hundreds of dollars in cash for each encounter.
Jeffrey Epstein, the defendant, knew that many of his New York victims were underage, including because certain victims told him their age. Further, once these minor victims were recruited, many were abused by Epstein on multiple subsequent occasions at the New York residence. Epstein sometimes personally contacted victims to schedule appointments at the New York residence. In other instances, Epstein directed employees and associates, including a New York-based employee, Employee 1, to communicate with victims via phone to arrange for these victims to return to the New York residence for additional sexual encounters with Epstein.
Additionally, and to further facilitate the ability to abuse minor girls in New York, Jeffrey Epstein, the defendant, asked and enticed certain of his victims to recruit additional girls to perform quote unquote massages, and certainly engaged in sex acts with Epstein. When a victim would recruit another girl for Epstein, he paid both the victim recruiter and the new victim hundreds of dollars in cash. Though these victim recruiters, Epstein gained access to and was able to abuse dozens of additional minor girls.
Scarfy the Strays, the sky is a Medicare stream waiting to happen. Yeah, I agree.
I'm surprised he hasn't yet.
Right? In particular, certain recruiters brought dozens of additional minor girls to the New York residence to give massages to and engage in sex acts with Jeffrey Epstein, the defendant, the sleazebag. The sleazebag encouraged victims to recruit additional girls by offering to pay these victim recruiters for every additional girl they brought to sleazebag. When a victim recruiter accompanied a new minor victim to the New York residence, both the victim recruiter and the new minor victim were paid hundreds of dollars by sleazebag for the encounter. In addition, certain victim recruiters routinely scheduled these encounters through Employee 1, who sometimes asked the recruiters to bring a specific minor girl for sleazebag.
See, this is what Medicare needs to do his stream on this guy, 13B. Epstein was found to be a furry wearing dog suits while screwing other dogs, goats, cats, and rabbits with the girls, in addition to having a zoo orgy.
Oh, God.
See, now Mr. Medicare will come in.
Unchained, this man cannot be trusted to change diapers. I completely agree.
He's probably a diaper fur. In addition to recruiting and abusing minor girls in New York, Jeffrey Epstein, the defendant, created a similar network of minor girls to victimize in Palm Beach, Florida, where Epstein owned, possessed, and controlled another large residence, i.e., the Palm Beach residence. Epstein frequently traveled from New York to Palm Beach by private jet, by which an employee or associate would ensure that minor victims were available for encounters upon his arrival in Florida.
This man needs to charter a fishing boat in shark-infested waters wherein somebody needs to nick him and throw him in the ocean.
I can make some issues.
And his body will never be found. 15, at the Palm Beach residence, sleazebag, the defendant, engaged in a similar course of abusive conduct. When a victim initially arrived at the Palm Beach residence, she would be escorted to a room, sometimes by an employee of sleazebag, including at times two assistants, Employee 2 and Employee 3, who, as described herein, were also responsible for scheduling sexual encounters with minor victims, who should also be fucking arrested and flogged.
Yeah, when the victims know what was going on, but yet they still did it.
Right? Once inside, the victims would provide a nude or semi-nude massage for sleazebag, who would himself typically be naked. During these, how do I wind up reading this shit with the details in it? During these encounters, sleazebag would escalate the nature and scope of the physical contact to include sex acts such as, and direct and indirect contact with the victims, you know what.
Gentiles, yeah.
Yeah. Epstein would also typically, during these encounters,
make baby yum-yums during those encounters. Yep. To touch him while he baby yum-yummed and touch victims' Gentiles with hands or with sex toys. In connection with each sexual encounter, Jeffrey Epstein, a brony, the defendant, or one of the employees or associates paid the victim in cash. The victims typically were paid hundreds of dollars for each counter.
Snippet, sharks refused to eat him out of disgust. Sleazebag, the defendant, knew that certain of his victims were underage, including because certain victims told him their age. So he didn't give a shit. He was a fucking pedo. In addition, as the New York-based victims, many Florida victims once recruited were abused by sleazebag, the defendant, on multiple additional occasions.
Brony Epstein, the defendant, who during the relevant times periods were frequently in New York, would arrange for employee 2, will play for pedo 2, or other pedos to contact victims by phone in advance to Brony's travels to Florida and to ensure appointments were scheduled for when he arrived. In particular, in certain instances, Pedo 2 placed phone calls to minor victims in Florida to schedule encounters at the Palm Beach residence. At the time of certain of those phone calls, Brony and Porno Guy 2, Pedo 2, were in New York, New York. Additionally, certain of the individuals victimized at the Palm Beach residence were contacted by the phone by Pedo 3 to schedule these encounters.
Moreover, as in New York, to ensure a steady stream of minor victims, Sleazebag, the defendant, asked and enticed certain victims in Florida to recruit other girls to engage in sex acts. Sleazebag paid hundreds of dollars to victim recruiters for each additional girl it had brought to the Palm Beach residence. So the same shit he did in New York.
Yep. From about at least in or about 2002 up to including in or about 2005 in Southern District of New York and elsewhere, Kiro the Wolf, Epstein, the defendant, and other known and unknown willfully and knowingly did combine, conspire, confederate, and agree together with each other to commit an offensive act against the United States, to wit, sex trafficking of minors in violation of Title 18, United States Code, Section 1591A and B.
21. It was part and object of the conspiracy that Chester the molester, the defendant, and others known and unknown would aid and would and did in and affecting interstate and foreign commerce, recruit, entice, harbor, transport, provide, and obtain by any means a person, and to benefit financially and by receiving anything of value from participation in a venture which has engaged in any such act, knowing that the person had not attained the age of 18 years and would be caused to engage in a commercial sex act in violation of Title 18 United States Code, Sections 1591 A and B, subsection 2.
In furtherance of the conspiracy and to effect the illegal object thereof, the following overt acts, among others, were committed in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere. A. In or about 2004, Uncle Bob, the defendant, enticed and recruited multiple minor victims, including minor victims identified herein as Innocent 1, Innocent 2, and Innocent 3, to engage in sex acts with Uncle Joe at his, did I say Uncle Joe?
Yeah.
My mind must have been somewhere else. At his residences in Manhattan, New York, and Palm Beach, Florida, after which he provided them with hundreds of dollars in cash for each encounter.
In or about 2002, Innocent 1 was recruited to engage in sex acts with Sleazebag and was reportedly sexually abused by Chester the molester at the New York residence over a period of years and was paid hundreds of dollars for each encounter. Chester the molester also encouraged and enticed Innocent number 1 to recruit other girls to engage in paid sex acts, which she did. Chester the molester asked minor victim number 1 how old she was, and minor victim answered truthfully.
And in or about 2004, Innocent 1, located in the Southern District of New York. Oh, sorry, that's Pedo 1. Oh, yeah. That's Pedo 1. Sorry. So in or about 2004, Pedo 1, located in the Southern District of New York, and on behalf of Epstein, Uncle Bill, placed a telephone call to minor or Innocent 1 in order to schedule an appointment for Innocent 1 to engage in paid sex acts with Uncle Joe. I just like Uncle Joe because it fits.
Yeah.
In or about 2004, Innocent 2 was recruited to engage in sex acts with Uncle Joe and his repeatedly sexual abuse by Uncle Joe at the Palm Beach residence over a period of years, and was paid hundreds of dollars after each encounter. Uncle Joe also encouraged and enticed Innocent Victim 2 to recruit other girls and engage in paid sex acts, which she did.
In or about 2005, asshole number 2, located in the Southern District of New York, and on behalf of Sleazebag, placed a telephone call to Innocent number 2 in order to schedule an appointment for Innocent number 2 to engage in paid sex acts with Sleazebag. In or about 2005, my Innocent number 3 was recruited to engage in sex acts with Bastard and was repeatedly sexually abused by asshole at the Palm Beach residence over a period of years and was paid hundreds of dollars for each encounter. Idiot Child also encouraged and enticed Innocent number 3 to recruit other girls to engage in paid sex acts which she did. Butthole asked innocent number 3 how old she was, and innocent number 3 answered truthfully.
In or about 2005, Pedo 2, located in the Southern District of New York, and on behalf of Brother Joe, Uncle Bill, your favorite uncle, placed a telephone call to innocent victim 3 in Florida in order to schedule an appointment for innocent victim 3 to engage in paid sex acts with your favorite uncle implied. In or about 2004, Pedo 3 placed a telephone call to innocent victim 3 in order to schedule an appointment for innocent victim 3 to engage in paid sex acts with Epstein. Title 18, United States Code, Section 371.
Count 2, sex trafficking. The grand jury further charges the allegations contained in paragraphs 1 through 19 and 20 of this indictment are repeated and realleged as if fully set forth within. In other words, we're not going to repeat the shit. We're just going to continue the shit.
Yeah, and also real quick, Dracona, that's because, as we've discovered earlier, he was able, with lawyers, good lawyers, buy his way out of being charged as a sex offender and being out of the way of spending life in prison.
Yeah.
Till now. Because remember, he's 66 years old. So if he gets convicted this time around and he gets to 45 years, that's life.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, I'm sorry.
From at least in or about 2002 up to and including in or about 2005 in the Southern District of New York, asshole incarnate, the defendant willfully and knowingly in and affected interstate and foreign commerce, did recruit, entice, harbor, transport, provide, and obtain by means of person, knowing that the person had not attained the age of 18 years and would not, God, I hate legalese, because to engage in a commercial sex act and did aid and abet the same, to wit, idiot child, recruited, enticed, harbored, transported, provided, and obtained numerous individuals who were less than 18 years old, because he's a fucking fleecebag, including but not limited to innocent number 1, as described above, and who were then caused to engage in at least one commercial sex act in Manhattan, New York. Title 18, United States Code, Sections 591, A, B, subsection 2 and 2.
Forfeiture allegations. Oh, yeah. Forfeiture time. As a result of committing the offense alleged in count 2 of this indictment, Buffalo Bill Assfuck, the defendant, shall forfeit to the United States pursuant. I gotta do this tap here. Retard here. Oh, I can't say retard anymore.
No.
Special pedo individual shall forfeit to the United States pursuant to Title 18, United States Code Section 1594C1, any property, real and personal, that was used to or intended to be used to commit or facilitate the commission of the offense alleged in count 2, and any property, real or personal, constituting or derived from any proceeds obtained directly or indirectly as a result of the offense alleged in count 2, or any property traceable to such property, and the following specific property: A, the lot or parcel of land, together with its buildings, appurtenances, improvements, fixtures, attachments, and easements located at 9 East 71st Street, New York, with block number 1386 and lot number 10, owned by...
Oh, sorry. I'm looking up Epstein's history. Sorry.
Maple Inc. You need to screw up a little bit more.
All right.
If any of the above, I want to read this because this makes me happy.
Okay.
If any of the above described portable property as a result of any act or omission of the defendant, A, cannot be located upon the exercise of due diligence, B, has been transferred or sold to or deposited with a third person, C, has been placed beyond the jurisdiction of the court, D, has been substantially diminished in value, or E, has been commingled with other property which cannot subsidize without difficulty, is the intent of the United States pursuant to 21 U.S.C. 853 P and 28 U.S.C. 2461C to seek forfeiture of any other property of the defendant up to the value of above forfeiture property. Title 18 United States Code Section 1594, Title 21 United States Code Section 853P, and Title 28 United States Code Section 2461. Translated in simpler terms, he owns squat because the government owns it now. He doesn't have a pot to piss in, but he does have a pot to piss in because he's in jail.
Yep, that's
Yay!
So let me see here. Oh, I'm already there. So
yes, Wikipedia. I'm actually surprised about that too. When I was reading, I was like, "Wow, they actually do use it against guilty people as well." That's good to know.
All right, I'm gonna see if I can get this to work. So let me see here, because I found a couple of things on the phone. No, I don't want to sign up to your fucking app. Just let me do this.
So yeah, so that means that's millions and millions and millions of dollars going to the government. Usually, they'll try to sell the property off to. Well, maybe they won't sell the property off. Who knows? But usually, they'll try to sell the property off to get more of a profit from it, I guess. I mean, all his planes, because his planes was used in an act. So there goes his personal jet. Bye-bye. His boats, they're gone. Bye-bye. His 2 properties. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And, well, Wikis. Oh, hey, Panina. It's a Panina appeared.
Reload. Come on.
So, yeah, probably his clothes, everything inside those mansions.
Oh, yeah.
I just hope those employees get charged and do spend some time in prison where they belong, because they knew. There's no way they can say that, oh, we didn't know they were underage. We didn't know what he was doing, when they were actually making the phone calls and arranging this crap. So they better be. You know what's going to happen? Oh, they turned state evidence, so we're not really going to. They're okay. No. Some sort of crime has to be put on them, and they have to spend some sort of time in prison to experience the full effect of what it feels like to be a bottom bitch.
I love it. Yeah, I agree. All right, we finally got this thing mirrored. Okay.
Stop mirroring.
All right, here we go. Flip. And according to this thing, because yes, I looked up some of his damn details.
Why?
Jeffrey Edward Asshole is an American financier, philanthropist, laugh at that, and registered sex offender. Epstein began his career at the investment bank Bear Stearns before forming his own firm, J. Epstein and Company. He lives in the United States Virgin Islands.
But is he a registered sex offender?
It says so in the about over here out of the wiki. Now, remember, take wikis with a grain of salt, but it does say he is a registered sex offender.
Is it a big bone, Panina?
Uh-oh.
I don't know. If it's a big bone, then I'm all for it. But anyway, sorry.
Oh shit! I'm gonna have to open this up.
So somebody's gonna have to double check, see if he was a actual cited as a sex offender or not.
Yep. Look at what just popped up on the screen.
Oh, come on.
Yep, we gotta cover it because we're watching this shit.
Oh, so breaking. New York Governor Cuomo signs bill allowing Congress to access Trump's state tax returns.
Right, exactly. The measure ensures that no one is above the law, the governor said in a statement. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo on Monday signed a bill that would allow certain members of Congress to access to President, and these people need to edit as well, allow certain members of Congress to access President Donald Trump's New York state tax returns. The bill, which Cuomo had been expected to okay, requires New York officials to release tax returns of public officials that have been requested by congressional tax-related committees that have cited specific legitimate legislative purpose in seeking them. This bill gives Congress the ability to fulfill its constitutional responsibilities, strengthen our democratic system, and ensure that no one is above the law. Cuomo, a Democrat, said in a statement, tax secrecy is paramount, the exception being for bona fide investigative and law enforcement purposes. Now, I'm going to stop here and I'm going to ask this question. When they started this particular journey, wasn't it already pointed out to Congress that they can't do this because those are personal finances and nothing to do with him as the president in an official capacity?
From the very beginning, it was stated that they couldn't access those because they were personal records.
Okay. The tax bill, which was passed weeks ago by the democratically controlled state legislature, makes it easier for New York to turn over the state tax returns of certain public office holders, along with entities those people control or have a large stake in, that are requested by the leaders of the 3 congressional tax writing committees. More reasons for people to leave New York.
Yeah, New York has become like everybody says California is the shithole. New York is the communist paradise.
Right. It's a momentous day for transparency in government, especially when it comes to holding elected officials more accountable. David Buchwald said, a state assemblyman who sponsored the legislation told NBC News.
Scarfy, Scarfy, they're going to use that for the 2020 campaign.
Right.
That's why they're getting it now.
Exactly. Remember, everything is either, if it's late, then they're posturing for the next election cycle, which is next year. The laws in place prior to Cuomo's signing of the bill generally bar the release of tax returns, and the congressional panels, the House Ways and Means Committee, the Senate Finance Committee, and the Joint Committee on Taxation could file a request with the state only after efforts to gain access to federal filings through the Treasury Department had failed. Means of destruction. So all NY public officials will be required, if asked, to disclose their records. That's what it sounds like.
Technically, that's what the government signed in. So yeah, so if you live in New York, you could demand your officials' records, and they have to give them to you because Cuomo signed it.
Yep, exactly.
There you go.
Yep. It underscores the principle of our democracy that nobody, not even the president of the United States, is above the law. Said state.
This again?
Yeah, Brad Hoylman, another sponsor of the legislation. Yep, there you go.
I do want to learn more about AOC and her finances. Definitely. Yeah, we should, because now since it's legal, we can do that. So we could probably enter her life and turn everything inside out.
Right.
I say we go for it.
Let's see. Oh my God. Okay, here's another one. This is out of Smart News. This is going to be interesting. Make everybody smile. Okay, this is independent, so take out your grains of salt. Take out your grains of salt.
So apparently the Greece election results, landslide for center-right New Democracy after Syriza concedes defeat.
Yep. And I'll let you read this. I got it on the screen. Can you see it okay?
Yeah. Greece center-right's opposition has won the country's parliamentary elections as Golden Dawn, the far-right anti-immigrant party, who were previously Greece's third largest, lost each of its 18 seats. Ouch. Just ask UKIP, and they know how you feel in your pain there, Greece.
Right.
Just ask Sargon. He'll give you a hug. Yeah. With more than 99% of the votes counted, Kyriakos Mitsotakis, long name that's Greek.
Mitsotakis.
New Democrat Party, of course, it's New Democrat Party, had 39.85% of the votes compared to 31.5% for Syriza, the leftist party led by Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras. So there you go.
Yep, that is.
So that's going to be interesting.
It is. We're going to keep an eye on that too.
So Greece is already halfway being a socialist country. Now they're going to be able to be all in.
Mm-hmm.
And still beg money from the EU, which they will give them.
Oh yeah. Most
because we still have the crisis going on as well that no one talks about anymore.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here.
Is Clinton a New York official? But no, Clinton is, I think, a private citizen right now of New York. So, but if she did run for, supposedly run for president again, then yes, she would be an official.
Yep. Let me know in the chat if you like me looking up the breaking news and the stuff I'm finding like this on my phone and projecting it over here. 1 for yes if you like this, 2 for no, because if you do like this, if news breaks when we go to our more professional format, it will be done in this manner because it's faster to look it up like this than to go to another tab on the computer.
Yeah, in case anyone didn't see that, the appeals court once again blocking Trump's Pentagon cash can't be built for border wall. Yep. Now, I thought that in my pea brain that the Defense Department got their money, that they can use that money any way they wish for the budget, right?
Right.
So why are they trying to block it when it's the Department of Defense's money?
I've got no.
And this is that type of a military operation because of the people that are crossing the border.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Out of San Diego, it would be out of California. An appeals court on Wednesday upheld a freeze on Pentagon money to build a border wall with Mexico, casting doubt on President Donald Trump's ability to make good on a signature campaign promise before the 2020 election. And the Bert just kind of fucked up my news voice.
Panina, what does 4 mean?
Panina's just being a rebel.
She's throwing big numbers at me, and I don't know what they mean.
A divided 3-judge panel of the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in San Francisco.
Pen, check your Discord.
Check my Discord.
No, not you, Pen.
Oh, okay. With a lower court ruling that prevented the government from tapping Defense Department counter-drug money to build high-priority sections of wall in Arizona, California, and New Mexico. The decision is a setback for Trump's ambitious plans. He ended a 35-day government shutdown in February after Congress gave him far less than he wanted. He then declared a national emergency, which they kept saying was fabricated, but we know that's a lie. The tests are in, and it says that's a lie. Okay.
It's a lie.
Right? The results are in. And the White House said would free billions of dollars from the Pentagon. The case may still be considered, but the administration cannot build during the legal challenge. As for the public interest, we conclude that it is best served by respecting the Constitution's assignment of the power of the purse to Congress and by deferring to Congress's understanding of the public interest as reflected in its repeated denial of more funding for border barrier construction, because they have their head up their asses and they can give themselves colonoscopies.
As always.
Right, and a Barack Obama appointee and Richard Clinton, a George W. Bush appointee. So,
of course.
Right. Freeze imposed by U.S. District Judge Haywood Gilliam Jr. of Oakland in May prevented work on 2 Pentagon-funded wall contracts, one spanning 46 miles, 74 kilometers in New Mexico, another covering 5 miles, 8 kilometers in Yuma, Arizona. While the order applied only to those first in-line projects, Gilliam made clear that he felt the American Civil Liberties Union was likely to prevail in their argument that Trump ignored Congress's wishes by diverting Defense Department money. Gilliam went a step further Friday by ruling definitively that the administration couldn't use Pentagon counter-drug money for the 2 projects covered in his May order to replace 63 miles or 101 kilometers in the Borders Patrol Tucson area, Arizona sector and 15 miles, 24 kilometers in the California sector.
I call bullshit. This is, plus you put that wall up, you're going to be saving lives.
Mm-hmm.
You could be restricting what the drug lords are going to be doing and making them go to certain focal points.
Yeah.
And yes, it's for a defense because guess what? Russia's right down the road. They're setting shop in Venezuela. That's right outside our door pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So all this grandstanding that they're doing over there, first of all, you're going to endanger more lives. More people are going to die because of your stupid decision to grandstand and be the giant cock. But also, it is a thing that we need to help us with the drug war. Well, the Mexican drug war.
Yeah. And
our enemies who are probably in our borders that probably crossing in here, resting comfortably now.
Yeah.
So I know that a lot of people hate our country, but guess what? You still freaking live here.
Yep.
Just saying. I mean, if you really don't like it, please get out. That's all I ask. Please,
right?
Just get out.
Oh.
Just go.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want you. AOC, take them out of here.
Right. Especially AOC, because she makes me so disappointed that I have like Puerto Rican relatives.
I have to say it again because, when you're crying for the camera at the detention center for all those kids in the cells, and you see like an empty parking lot, she cried some more because she got caught.
No. See, it's like I said on Twitter. The poses in those pictures remind me of my dad's mother who could cry on cue and was over dramatic for no reason. So when she was striking those poses, the only thing going through my head was, "Ay, Dios mío."
And why were they wearing white? Of all colors to go out to the desert wearing white?
Right? We all know it was staged.
But I do have to step away because my kitty, my Maine Coon cat, his name is Rocco, is bugging me because he wants me to put him in his chair because he has me wrapped around his little tail and he is spoiled beyond repair. So I shall be back in a quick New York minute, whatever the hell that means.
Hey, Neil.
Hey, Nilk. Meow. Nilk. I'll be right back as soon
The
as I know how to do
administration immediately appealed, and Randy Smith, a George W. Bush appointee, strongly disagreed with the appeals court ruling, saying it misread constitutional separation of powers. The majority here takes an uncharted and risky approach, turning every question of whether an executive officer exceeded a statutory grant of power into a constitutional issue, he wrote in his dissent. This approach is in contradiction to the most fundamental concepts of judicial review. Rocco's Modern Life. Yeah. The Justice Department didn't immediately respond to a request for comment Wednesday. Its attorneys argued that the freeze on Pentagon funds showed a fundamental misunderstanding of the federal appropriations process. The ACLU, which presented the Sierra Club and Southern Border Communities Coalition, applauded the decision. For the sake of our democracy and border communities, it's time the president come to terms with the fact that America rejected his xenophobic wall, good Lord, and move on, said the ACLU attorney Drorel Ladden. The stake is billions of dollars that would allow Trump to make progress on a major 2016 campaign promise heading into his race for second term. Trump declared a national emergency after losing a fight with the Democratic-led House that led to the 35-day shutdown. Congress agreed to spend nearly $1.4 billion on barriers in the Texas Rio Grande Valley, the busiest corridor for illegal crossings, which was well below the $5.7 billion the president requested. And I'm going to let you read this next part while I bring the puppy back in because she's barking off.
And also, yes, Wikipedia, he is named after Rocco's Modern Life. And he was just wanted to eat because it's his feeding time. All right, so I'm just going to read from the top here. Trump grudgingly accepted the money, but declared that the mercy to siphon cash from the other government accounts, finding up to $8.1 billion for wall construction. The money includes $3.6 billion from military construction funds, $2.5 billion from the Defense Department counter-drug activities, and 600. I just went blind. I'm blind.
Oh shit! The phone went to sleep.
I can't see.
Here we go.
I can still see. Oh, that's a relief because I thought I just went blind.
The phone went to sleep. You didn't go blind.
Acting Defense Secretary Mark Esper has yet to approve transferring the military constructive funds. The Treasury Department funds so far survived legal challenges. I just want to say that they could get the Army engineers into this. They can make it into a military project. Mm-hmm. Just saying. This could be a military project where the Army engineers can go in and do the job. But anyway, just saying. So the president's adversaries say their mercy declaration was an illegal attempt to ignore Congress.
Right.
How can we not help to ignore Congress?
Hey, Jay Willie.
The administration said the U.S. needed mercy protection to fight drug smuggling. Its arguments did not mention illegal immigration or unprecedented numbers of Central American families seeking asylum at the U.S. border. They're not seeking asylum, which have dominated public attention in recent months.
I will put it
because if they were,
hold on. Not only are there families actually seeking asylums, but what they refuse and what they keep leaving out, lies by omission, is the fact that there are coyotes that are trying to smuggle children across the border. There are drug mules trying to sneak across the border as well, which is why these detainment facilities are what they are and what they're supposed to do. So, yeah, they keep leaving those out because, oh my God, think of the children and the families. You've got to think about them. Oh, the horror.
So the administration has awarded $2.8 billion in contracts for barriers covering 247 miles, which is 390 kilometers, with all but 17 miles, 27 kilometers, of that to replace existing barriers, not expand coverage. It is preparing for a flurry of construction that the president is already celebrating at the campaign-style rallies. Trump inherited barriers spanning 654 miles, or 1,046 kilometers for the rest of the world that won't follow our metric system, or about one-third of the border with Mexico. Of miles covered under the Trump-awarded contracts, more than half is with Pentagon money. The Army Corps of Engineers, there we go, recently announced several large Pentagon-funded contracts. Cisco Ltd. of Galveston, Texas won a $789 million award to replace the New Mexico border or barrier. Southwest Valley Constructors of Albuquerque, New Mexico, took a left at Albuquerque, won a $646 million award for the work of Tuscan Barnard Construction Company of Bozeman, Montana.
Whoa.
Won, ah,
There we go.
of Montana won a $141.8 million contract to replace barrier in Yuma and El Centro.
All right, there we go. Is there anything else? No, I think that's it. So yeah, that's where we're at there with the wall and his constant fight to get funding for it.
Wikipedia snippet. So both the two-legged kind and the four-legged coyotes prey on small children. Yeah, pretty much.
Apparently. So, yeah,
and Jay Willie, why are most left okay with child smuggling? Because they don't care about the children.
Exactly.
Did I say that?
Yes.
Am I allowed to?
Yes. We are no longer monetized, so yes.
Oh yeah, cool. Yay. We're not monetized. Like we're ever gonna be monetized.
They kept demonetizing my shit anyway, so I'm like, okay, fine, I'll leave your partner program.
Yeah, because you know we can't. Because you're not allowed to tell the truth anymore.
You bloody bastards. Yeah. Take that.
Yeah, exactly. So are we almost done, or what are we doing next?
Yeah, we are almost done. I am going to go and see if I can pull up the Humble Bundle to show everybody what's available on the Humble Bundle today. And then we will be closing out the stream. So this stream will be available for the first 24 hours only. I'm going to be downloading it and editing it both for snippets to be re-uploaded and also for the I was going to say something and then my brain farted. The podcast on SoundCloud. If you wish to see more of the podcasts on SoundCloud, then please support our channel by going to the links below. As you can see, we have tech career books. We have let me see. What is this? A favorite DRM free titles. We have an early unlock. If you subscribe today,
good one, Jay Willie.
The Beast of a Bundle, which is like, I think that's the one for the horror. Yep. Get Tome of Horrors and Gargantuan Whisper and all these things for RPG stuff. There's also a Witcher sale going on. For
Witcher!
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I think there's 11
racist,
minutes
right?
left for that. The Witcher sale has 11 minutes left.
But aren't they racist? Because, no black gods in Polish mythology.
I don't care.
But anyway.
So if you guys want to partake in that and have not partaken in that, you have about, it's not letting me. Okay, you guys are seeing this on the stream, right?
Yep.
It's not letting me put the link.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
By the way, Jay Willie says, Christian conservatives say, please, will someone think of the children?
Right?
Now it makes sense. Yes, it does, Jay Willie. Never thought that would happen. Oh, Jay Willie, yes. Yes, indeed.
Yep. Be on the lookout and follow me on Twitter for Humble Bundle announcements. And because we're going to have to do it that way, because I can't put any commerce links apparently in the live chat.
I guess YouTube is still mad at you.
Well, I've been mad at them for a while.
Well, they're sticking their tongue out at you now, wagging their finger.
Right? So thank everybody for showing up today. Don't forget to like this stream. If you liked it, don't forget to share it out so other people can see it. I'm not going to delete it from the channel. However, I will be unlisting it and putting it in the playlist for the Morning Brew. I figured if I edit the snippets, especially the snippet about Epstein, and re-upload it, we could probably get more views. Thank you.
Thank you, Unchained. Thank you.
Until next time, which is tomorrow. If you guys come across any news you would like us to cover or delve a little further into in order to remove the rhetoric and report on it tomorrow morning, you can contact me on Twitter because my DMs are always open. If you are a member of my Discord or I'm a member of any of your Discords, you can DM me through there as well. As always, my friends, keep your eyes out, keep your mind open, and always question your sources. Or as Merlin likes to say,
hi, I'm a Merlin. Bye. Have a good day.
I'm hoping you say use your mind today before someone uses it.
You have to tell me. Just say facets. Just say the word facets. Because, I'm smarter than you because I see the world as many facets. And therefore, I would have to say, people, please, use your mind today before someone uses it tomorrow. I'm a Merlin. Bye.
And on that note, take care of each other, guys, and see you tomorrow morning at the same time.